We love getting your questions, so we want you to keep them coming via Facebook, Twitter, and on our webpage. Who knows, we might just answer your question here in the studio audience next.
Welcome back to the Daily Helpline. We're joined today by Tisha Campbell-Martin. And Tisha, we know you'll really be able to relate to our next guest, Carmen, who's struggling to deal with her 2-year-old son's recent medical diagnosis. Here's her story.
I have a son, his name is Noel, and he is 2 years old. Noel was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder a few months ago. I was in denial. I did see some signs, but I couldn't believe that my only son had autism. When Noel was born, everything was normal. There was no complications. Once he turned 1, that's when things were like changing. His development was slower. I did at one point feel responsible. I was blaming myself. His condition has made me very sad. I have cried a lot. There's good days and there's bad days. The bad days are the ones where he wanders, where he has a meltdown, his screaming. There's some nights where he can't sleep until 2, 3 in the morning, and I can't sleep until he goes to sleep. It stresses me out when he has a meltdown because sometimes I can't control him, and it's overwhelming. It makes me feel like I'm failing as a parent.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Wow, that is a lot. Tell us a little bit about why you decided to come today.
I need help in coping with the stress that I deal with emotionally and financially due to my son's autism diagnosis. As I'm trying to seek help from anywhere, you know. It's really hard.
Tell us what the hardest part of the day is.
His meltdowns. His meltdowns are getting worse and worse, you know. His sensory skills are not as good, you know. He gets mad at anything, and then the sleeping. I don't think he knows the difference between night and day, so it's really hard. Sometimes he goes to sleep at midnight, you know, midnight, 1 in the morning, and I have to stay awake with him.
Okay, first of all, I see where you are. You're in a place where you feel like there's no hope, and you're freaking tired. I understand that so well because my son was diagnosed when he was 18 months. But if you could see him today, because of the work that you have to do, and I applaud you for the acceptance of the diagnosis, but it doesn't have to be what it is for the rest of your life. It doesn't have to be your plight. Like, my son would scream for 3 hours straight. Now, most kids, most babies will cry for 15, 20 minutes, and you think you're about to go, oh, I'm going to kill myself. But, you know, our kids will go for a very long time. Hours on end, nonstop breakdowns, fighting. Is he hitting?
Yeah, he hits a lot of his little friends, well, other kids in daycare.
Okay, well, let me just explain for people who don't really know what autism is, or in the best way that I can in layman's terms. It has a lot to do with sensory. You know, their brains aren't wired the same way as ours are. And so they may not hear the same way, see, smell, feel, touch.
So let me ask you this. When you were at that place where you said which was hopeless,
right.
How did you manage and come out of that?
Here's the thing. Hopeless stayed for 3 days. I gave myself 3 days to feel sorry for myself and for my kids. 3 days to mourn the loss of what I wanted him to be. Because you have to have a whole new norm. You have to go very, very slowly. I literally, when I say I gave myself 3 days to mourn, it was a Friday when I got the diagnosis. I was like, you got till Monday. Because now it's time to work, it's time to put in the work, and I have to fight for my son. I told my husband, you are the leader of our household, but I want to lead in this. I will save his life. And that's where you got to be. Now, that's not to say I wasn't tired, that I didn't cry at other times. I was tired, and I did cry at times. But I found rest in, like you said, you have your girlfriend, and you may have, you know, some type of respite. You got to find respite where, you know what respite is? Respite, you can find this with like a regional center out here in Los Angeles. They have different regional centers, and they have people who could come babysit, who are trained to deal with children and who have autism, and they could just give you a break. You've got to take those breaks for yourself. You've got to do stuff for you so that you can have the strength to deal with this monster, because this is a very big bully you got going on right here. This is a bully you're going to have to kick his butt. Like David and Goliath, throw that rock, hit him upside the head, because autism.
Do you love her? Like, are you like,
Here's where we are. I think when we come back, we want to see if you've got any fight left in you.
We're going to get her
So
some
when
rocks.
we come back, we'll continue our conversation with Carmen.
That's right. We'll be right back. We love getting your questions, so we want you to keep them coming via Facebook, Twitter, and on our webpage. Who knows? We might just answer your question here in the studio audience next.